second. All right. So today we're going to do day 26 of day 28 days practice. So we are almost at the end. And people who had been joining since the beginning, they must feel a shift. Um, but this book, like I keep repeating myself, it's not something that you read once in life and you forget. This is something that you have to incorporate in your day-to-day practice. And then you start seeing real shift in life, real shift in the mindset. Okay. Day 26, magically transform mistakes into blessings. And we have all heard it while growing, when we were little, when we were in our teen years, when we are adults now. Learn from your mistakes, right? And Rhonda Byrne does a beautiful job explaining how to magically change or transform your mistakes into your blessings. So, very nice chapter once again, and a very beautiful, beautiful practice. So, Oprah Winfrey said, turn your wounds into wisdom. I don't know how many of you have spent the life learning about Oprah's life. Um, Not a very good start in her life. The experiences she got, um, some of them are very traumatic, right? And so there are two kinds of mindsets that are in the world. When people have traumatic experiences in life, they can either give in to them, or they can take the lessons from them and turn those lessons into something big or something magical. So that's what she's saying. Turn your wounds into wisdom. And if you want to explore a little bit further, I highly, highly encourage go do a little bit of research on Oprah, and you will understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to say and what Oprah actually is communicating in this quote. Every single mistake is a blessing in disguise. Today's magical practice will prove it, because you are about to discover. Can I please ask everybody to? I'm going to mute everybody. Okay. Okay. Every single mistake is a blessing in disguise. Today's magical practice will prove it, because you are about to discover that there are actually untold blessings hidden within every mistake. And a lot of people, when they reflect on their previous experiences, they can always understand that what once felt like a mistake was actually carrying a big lesson that you have used in the future events of your life. A child makes many mistakes while learning how to ride a bike or write, and we don't give it a second thought, because we know that through their mistakes they will learn and eventually master what they are trying to do. So, why is it that adults are so hard on themselves when they make a mistake? The same rule that applies to children also applies to you. We all make mistakes, and if we didn't make them, we would never learn anything, and we wouldn't grow any smarter or any wiser. So you remember yesterday how we were talking that children are all happy. Nothing bothers them. They make everything about themselves, right? And whether they fall, whether they make a mistake, they probably will cry for a few minutes and then they move on. Adults, by the time they become more and more aware of themselves, the conditioning that happens, it changes that behavior that we are born with. A child never complains about or be hard on themselves. Oh, I fell today 5 times because I was learning to walk. On the contrary, what the adults do is they get so hard on themselves. And that's where we say we are our biggest critics. We give ourselves more hard time than anybody else around us can. How it should be? Rather than being hard on ourselves, we should be very gentle with ourselves. We have to give ourselves credit. Um, we tried. We probably did not get 100% success, but we learned something. And there is a very beautiful practice, like outside of this chapter. Just a little bit of because I'm digressing on something else. This book is going to finish. The next reading for the same book, we are going to start on July 7th. Between the time we finish this book and we start the new session of the same book on July 7th, we are going to, at the same time, we are going to do some concentrated practices for gratitude. We are going to pick one topic. So there will not be any break, but a slightly different session. And in those sessions, we are going to do concentrated practices. One of the topic that we are going to pick is say gratitude for yourself, right? And the reason I digressed a little bit, I know, is because I wanted to tie this chapter with that practice. We are so hard on ourselves. I really want us to reflect a little bit and say thank you to yourself. You did this, you achieved this, you did this, you helped somebody, things like that. So we become our worst critic. And what Rhonda Byrne is saying is don't do that to yourself. Be gentle to yourself, be nice to yourself, just like you were when you were a little child. We have the freedom to make our own choices. And that means we have the freedom to make mistakes. How are we going to learn if we don't make mistakes? So mistakes are part of journey that we are taking, and mistakes are part of learning. Mistakes are part of our growth. Mistakes can hurt. But if we don't learn from mistake we have made, the pain we have suffered from it has been for nothing. This is very important. We are going to be gentle to ourselves. We are going to make mistakes. We are going to acknowledge beforehand that it's okay to make mistakes and mistakes are going to hurt. But if we do not learn from that mistake, the pain we have suffered from it has been for nothing. You cannot keep making the same mistakes again and again and again and again. In fact, by the law of attraction, if we will make the same mistake over and over again until the consequences hurt us so much that we finally learn from it, it's the very reason why mistakes hurt, so that we do learn from them and don't make them repeatedly. If we decide, like everybody has a choice, right? And now, like these chapters are a wee bit advanced. So I want you guys to start thinking a little bit more. Everybody is allowed to make mistakes. Everybody is allowed to certain lessons in life, right? But if we are not learning from our lessons, if we are not incorporating any good changes from the hurt or the lessons that we are getting, that means you're not making progress. What that also means is, now think about law of attraction. If you're not learning your lesson, what is the law of attraction going to give you? Law of attraction, we have read it every single day in this book. It will give you more of the same opportunities, more of the same experiences that you, until you learn that lesson, right? So slightly deeper thought. I hope it is making sense. If it is not, be gentle to yourself. It's okay. The next time we come to this practice, it is going to start making sense. Okay? To learn from a mistake, we first have to own it. And this is where many people can become undone because they often blame someone else for their mistake. It is very easy. It is in our second nature. Every time something goes wrong, it is somebody else's fault. I did not get a proper increment at job. It is boss's problem. My relationship is not good. It is my partner's or spouse, whoever, whatever kind of relationship we are in, it's their problem. We are not able to adjust at home. It's our parents' problem because my parents don't understand me. My child is not listening because my child is now a Gen Z or whatever generation they belong to, and they do not think like that. It is very easy to blame other people. Let's consider the scenario of being pulled over by the police for speeding and being given a speeding ticket. What do we do in such a scenario when we get a speeding ticket? We blame the police. Majority of us, I can sit here and guarantee, will blame the police. Instead of taking responsibility for the fact that we were speeding, we blame the police because they were hiding in the bushes on the highway around a bend. We couldn't see them. They had a radar gun, and so we didn't stand a chance. But the mistake was ours because we were the one who chose to speed. How many have experienced that? I'm sure many of us have experienced that. The problem with blaming other people for our mistake is that we will still suffer the pain and consequences of our mistake, but we didn't learn from it. See, if a police has seen us and they're going to issue a ticket or whatever they're going to do with us, and all we do is blame them. You still have to pay the ticket. If the insurance goes high, it goes high. You cannot stop that. But what is the big thing? We haven't learned from it. We haven't owned up our mistake. So what's going to happen? Put the law of attraction. We will attract making the same mistake again. It's going to keep happening to you, whether a police catches you, whether something else, similar kind of incidents, but you will keep catching the same thing. You are human. You will make mistakes. And it's one of the most beautiful things about being human. But you must learn from your mistakes. Otherwise, your life will have a lot of unnecessary pain. How do you learn from a mistake? Gratitude. No matter how bad something may seem, there are always many things to be grateful for. When you look for as many things as you can to be grateful for in a mistake, you magically transform the mistake into blessings. Mistakes attract more mistakes, and blessings attract more blessings. Which would you prefer? This last paragraph is again explaining the law of attraction in slightly different language. So if you are not learning from the mistake, law of attraction, till you learn your lesson, it's going to keep attracting same or similar patterned mistake in your life. If you are able to get your lesson, if you're able to transform that mistake into a blessing, what is law of attraction going to do for you? It's going to give you more opportunities and more blessings in your life. So today's exercise, think about a mistake you have made in your life. It doesn't matter whether it was big or small mistake, but choose one that still hurts when you think about it. Maybe you lost your temper with a person close to you, and the relationship hasn't been the same since. Maybe you put blind faith in another person and got burned. Maybe you told a white lie to protect someone, and because of it, you ended up in a difficult situation. You might have chosen the cheaper option on something, and it all went wrong and ended up costing you a whole lot more. You might have thought you were making the right decision about something, but it completely backfired on you. I think we can relate to these circumstances, each one of us, if not all, many of them. But I honestly feel we are all at an age where we can relate to all of this. We lost the temper, we paid cheap for something, and then we had to pay a lot more later on. Made a decision thinking it was right, but it wasn't. So pick a incident or a mistake from your life. Once you have chosen a mistake to magically transform into blessings, look for the things to be grateful for. To help you, there are two questions you can ask yourself. This is very important. You have to, my suggestion would be sit with yourself when you are doing this exercise. Do not sit with your phone, do not sit with your TV, or do not sit with other people. This is something you have to do yourself in your own time. What did I learn from this mistake? What are the good things that came out of the mistake? The most important things to be grateful for about every mistake are the things you learned from it. When you're doing this exercise, in a previous session, somebody mentioned, I'm not even able to move past my mistake. I was so hard on myself, right? So if you end up in a space where you have picked a mistake, but you are so focused, oh my God, how could I do this? I was so stupid. I was so this. How could I? How could I? How could I? You have to move past that. Remember, you have to be gentle. It was part of your growth, it was part of your learning. Find a way to move past that. If you're not able to, it is not the time to do that exercise. Listen to some music, read something, whatever makes you happy. You have to get to that mindset of understanding that it was a mistake, it was for my learning. Then again, get back and start answering these questions. The most important things to be grateful for about every mistake are the things you learned from it. And no matter what the mistake, there are always many good things that came out of it and altered your future for the better. Think this through very carefully and see if you can find a total of 10 blessings to be grateful for. Every blessing you find has a magical power. Write out your list in a gratitude journal or type them on a computer. My personal preference, do it with a piece of paper and pen. Computer is very good, but half the time it is correcting your grammar, half the time it is correcting your spellings already. Um, when you write it yourself, you are fully connected and it is yours. So that's just my preference, though. If you like to do it on a computer, by all means. Let's take the example of being caught, speeding by a police car and receiving a fine. Now, this is the tough part, finding the blessings in that incident. I'm grateful to the police for wanting to protect me from harming myself. Pay attention to the language. I'm grateful to the police for wanting to protect me from harming myself. Because if I am speeding, what are the consequences there may be? I can get into a car crash, I can injure myself, I can harm myself, I may even lose my life. Because after all, that was all they were trying to do. I'm grateful to the police because if I am honest with myself, I was thinking about other things and I wasn't concentrating on the road. This person wasn't really aware of their surroundings. They were lost in their thoughts. How nice or not nice, or good or not good it is for people to be not focused when they're driving. I'm grateful to the police because it was foolish to put myself at risk, speeding with a tire that needed to be replaced. I'm grateful to the police for the wake up call. Being pulled over did affect me, and it will make me watch my speed and drive more carefully in the future. I am grateful for the police because somehow I had a wild idea that I could speed without getting caught and without putting myself in danger. Such a silly thought. The seriousness of the police made me face up to the fact that I was putting both myself and others in serious danger. I'm grateful to the police because if I think about my own family being put in danger by other speeding drivers, then I definitely want the police to stop speeding drivers. We are funny creatures. We are somehow okay if others are impacted, but the moment it comes on us and our family, our thought process changes a little bit. So, number 6 is about our family. That changes the thought process. I'm really grateful to the police for the work they do in trying to ensure the safety of every person and family on the roads. I'm grateful to the police. They must see heartbreaking situations every day, and all they're trying to do is protect my family and my family's life. I'm grateful to the police for making sure that I arrived home safely and walked through the door to my family as I usually do. I'm grateful to the police because of all the possible consequences that could have stopped me from my speeding. The police pulling me over was the least harmful consequences, and it could have been the biggest blessing of my life. Now, after writing about 10, see how the thought process has shifted. I'm still alive. I'm safe. I'm not hurt. My family still has me. My kids can still enjoy me. My parents can still enjoy me around them. So, police stopping me, we started from blaming them. And by number 10, it's a blessing that the policeman or policewoman, stopped me and saved me from harm's way. You see how it has shifted the mindset? And that is what we have to do. I would strongly urge you to take any mistakes you have made in your life that you still feel bad about, and in your own time, follow this magnificent and magical practice. Think about it. Through one mistake, you have the power to bring many blessings. What else guarantees dividends like this? This is again beautiful line. What else guarantees dividends like that? Right? We all put our money in savings and all the different things that are out there. But dividends this fast, we do not get elsewhere. So, magic practice number 26, magically transform mistakes into blessings. Practice 1, count your blessings. We are all a pro now. We know what we have to do first thing in the morning. Not going to repeat it during the day. Again, I'm going to stress on the fact that do this exercise when you have your privacy. Do this exercise when you are in a good mindset, and do this exercise when you are feeling so much good that you're not going to sit and blame yourself and be harsh on yourself. You have done that already, plenty for yourself. Here, you're going to sit down and be nice to yourself. You're gonna acknowledge the mistake, and you're going to move on very quickly from acknowledging to transforming it into a blessing. Okay, so make sure that you do that. Do not sit with how I did that, why would I do it, what did people think about me. Trust me, we are not important that other people will spend their time thinking about us. We are not that important. Choose one mistake you made in your life. Find a total of 10 blessings you are grateful for as a result of making that mistake, and write them down. To help you find blessings, you can ask yourself the questions: what did I learn from the mistake? And what are the good things that came out of that mistake? This is very important because if we do not learn from the mistake, if we do not understand our lesson, believe me, we are going to keep experiencing the same thing again and again and again and again till we sit down with ourselves and we say, okay, this is the lesson. And we turn that lesson into and incorporate that in our future life from that point on. That pattern will stop at that point. And at night, we do the magic rock. Again, we are all pro in this practice, and you all know what to do with the magic rock. If you don't know, listen to lesson 2 recording. It is all explained there. So that is the practice for today. I'm going to stop sharing. Any question, any comment, anything? Yeah, we are recording, Sunita. Yeah, Divya.
Yeah, I think it's a very beautiful session. Thank you, Anu. So actually, I want to talk in my case that, my parents were so strict from in my childhood that I was afraid to do even any mistake. Like I wanted to be perfect on everything. So I still find that habit inside me now, after being an adult also. I'm very conscious that, like I think this is a pattern, like because I have to get good marks, I have to do that, I was always pushing myself. And even now sometimes I want to try a new thing, there's some fear. Oh, what if I do? Or like I make sure that I do everything right. Too much of on that side. So in that case, how can I help myself, like, because I'm afraid to do a mistake here.
That is your, so two things I'm going to say there, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, our parents, they did or they taught us the best they know. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we are not gonna, none of us is gonna ever sit down and judge our parents. They did the best they knew. Okay. Now come back to the second point. You see this as a pattern. Take it as your, so if you are not ready or if you are not right now ready to take any, um, do anything or do a mistake, take that and turn it into a blessing. Sit with yourself. I'll be honest with you, I did a very similar practice, not with the parents, but with somebody else, many, many years ago. And my thought process changed so much for
Mm-hmm.
that individual. And a similar kind of situation. Okay, let me be a little bit transparent. I did the same exercise with my grandparents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So wherever I come from, they had a certain perspective about girls. We were allowed to do so much so in their presence, and we were not allowed to do many things in their presence. And I did this exercise with the exact same thought process that you are doing. But whatever my grandparents were stopping me from doing things,
Mm-hmm.
they were right in their perspective because that is the mindset they had, right? They stopped me from going out at night. It was a blessing. They kept me safe in their own way. Whether we agree with that today or not is a different discussion. That's out of the scope of this, right? Whatever happened, Find the good in that. They did not let me go out when they allowed the boys to go out of the house to enjoy chart or whatever, right? They
Mhm.
fed me healthy food. They made sure that I got the nice, healthy, homemade food. So sit with yourself. And when you sit with yourself in a very good, positive mindset, you're going to find blessings in that.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'll definitely try this.
Yeah, I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, Sunita?
Thank you. So I want to do a wonderful sharing based on this practice only that was happened like few years back. So yeah, situation was like okay, I'll use the positive words only. My car hugged the other car on the road. So you all can imagine what can happen. So in that situation, like anybody can be panicked. Like if I could have not gone through these practices, so I could be also one of them. But this book, the practice of the book, helped me. So it got hit, and the big major one. But what I started doing, I reached home somehow. Car was in the position that I could just drove back to the home. I came back home, and like my husband, oh, whatever, da, 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 da. Like any normal person will behave in that way only. So, but what I started, I just took out my phone only and I started typing the gratitudes that, yeah, thank God I'm safe. Thank God I dropped my kids. They are safe. Thank God that I could drive back. Thank God my car is in this position that I could come back to the home. Thank God that nobody is hurted. Thank God, like whatever best like was there in that position, because anything can happen on the road if the car hits the other car, whosoever mistake it is. But I was just focused on all the positive thing. Thank God I have insurance. Thank God I'm not very far from home. So in this way, like I think I wrote around 40 to 50 gratitudes in that situation. And I just tell you the outcome that what happened. We got such a big amount of insurance from that, and we got a new car like within 7 days. So this is the amazing result of this practice, that was a mistake that happened. But rather than focusing on mistake, rather than focusing on what has happened wrong, my focus was totally on the gratitude, that what is good in this hazardous situation. And the result is now in front of me. Like even everyone in the family is aware that, wow, like how to keeping calm in that particular situation and getting a new car. So yeah, that's a
Yes,
beautiful sharing for this practice. Thank you.
good. Can you clarify your question, Amitjit, a little bit? Are you able to come off mute, Amitji? Do we need to write the blessings, good things that happened while we did that mistake, or likely blessings that also could have happened? Are you able to speak? I cannot hear you. No, I cannot hear you. But if I understand your question correctly, do we need to write the blessings or good things that happened while we did that mistake? Whatever learnings, or like if you look at that example from the police, right? The police person stopped whoever was in the car from getting into a car crash, from harming themselves. So that is a blessing. I was safe. I got to my family. I what I'm not understanding from your question is, or the likely blessings that also could have happened. And you're not able to talk. Okay, I cannot really hear you. I see you have come off of mute. What I would suggest is include the second piece too. Anything likely that comes to your mind that could have happened as well, include that as well. Okay, I hope it clarifies. I hope you're able to hear me. Any other comment? Anything else that we need to? Okay, thank you. I'm glad you are able to hear. Okay. All right, then we are good. Two more practices to go, and then we are gonna shift our gears to do some concentrated gratitude for some time. No problem. That's okay. No need to apologize. We are gonna do some concentrated gratitude for some days, and then we are gonna start the next session for the same book on July 7th. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day wherever you are, or good night wherever you are. And we are going to connect tomorrow. I love connecting with all of you. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.